Yo, I said, we on our way up. I said, we on our way up. Hey, I said, we on our way up. Ha, we on our way up. So nothing can stop us. We on our way up. Tell me what you need. We got what you want. We got what you need. I'm like, world, what you want? World, what you need? See, we got what you want. We got what you need. Hey, hey, hey. I said, we on our way up. Yeah, we on our way up. Yeah, we on our way up. Nothing can stop us. We on our way up. Get 'em. I said, we on our way up. Shout out to Q. We on our way up. Shout out to L. We on our way up. Nothing can stop us. We on up. Shorty, what you want? World, what you need? Yeah, we got what you want. We got what you need. Robert Smith's gonna make us succeed. Yeah, give me what you need. Hey, I try to tell them that we on our way up. Hey, we on our way up. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Ah, let's go. Ah, I try to tell them, man, we on our way up. We on our way up. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You feel me? Yo, welcome back to the build. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Most importantly, you gotta pay motherfucking attention. Oh, I'm so sorry about the cussing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do, but I'm gonna try to tone it down. And I'm gonna try to tone it down just for me, you know what I'm saying? Just because a lot of times I feel like I might lose some people in the shuffle just because they don't like a little cussing. And to be honest with you, I don't go out of my way to do it. It's just kind of part of my vocabulary. And when I want to stress something, I throw a little, you know what I'm saying? I throw a little oomph in there, you know, literally speaking. So with that being said, look, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. But, you know, today, man, is a celebration. Today is a moment of solidifying, confirming, and we are sharing the progression. You see what I'm saying? Like, these are the moments that I strive for. These are the moments that I do this for, is when I am able to show y'all why I say what I say and why it's so important and how much of a difference that's gonna make. And so with that being said, man, we're on our way up. Yo, I just love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it when people just stand up and they become the example. I love it when people stand up and they become the epitome of everything and every little bit of, whether it's a documentary or it's me doing a live stream, or you know what I'm saying, or it's the Challenge Yourself series that I came out with, or even if it's in the music. Every little bit of it, everything that I give y'all on this channel has everything to do with what these men are doing right now. And that is to, number one, uplift, to, number one, progress, and most importantly, enlighten and educate anyone and anything that's around us that looks like us. Because most importantly, if we teach ourselves, which is inward, looking inward in our communities, then that knowledge, that compassion, that social etiquette, right? These things will exude out from our communities, will exude out from our kids, will exude out from our businesses and our culture. And the more we take control of these things, the more we will have, you know, the strength, and we will have the know-all to implement these things. You see, because a lot of times that is my biggest fuss, is that a lot of things that we generate money in, economically, a lot of things that we contribute to culturally, socially, politically, spiritually, not only do we not reap those benefits, but there's always some other person that is standing behind us making the money and exploiting us for what we are doing, which is generating whatever income or whatever education, whatever political know-how, whatever spiritual know-how. All these different things are not going back to the communities that have not only created them, but are not going back to the communities that are generating them. So it's a beautiful thing when I see us investing in us, and that's why I cannot brag about it enough. I can't be happier enough, man. It really brings me a feeling of accomplishment when I see the energy that I'm trying my best to put out in this world being manifested, and being manifested by people in my likeness, people, my idols, people I grew up watching and looking up to, and they've always had a sense of a good heart and a well-balanced thought. And I'm speaking of people like Ice Cube, you know what I'm saying? Always had a good head on their shoulders. People like LL. I'm not saying these people are innocent. I'm not saying these people are angels. But one thing is for sure is, they care about the community. Why? You see Ice Cube, ever since he's done his movies, it's always been a way culturally, not only does he give back to his people, but he hires his people. You know what I'm saying? 80% of his staff look like him. That's what we're talking about. And my thing is this too, and I'm going to say this over and over again. This has nothing to do with, just hating one race and us being better. No, this is us solidifying our independence in entertainment. This is us solidifying our independence in the scholastic field, in education. This is us solidifying our independence in the economic world that we have had a disadvantage from ever since we have stepped foot and we have been in the United States and abroad, in every part of this fucking world. So, like I said, man, without further ado, we are on our way up. Nothing can stop us. We are on our way up. So, this is how we win, folks. Family, this is how we win. And how we win is economic independence is the ultimate goal, okay? Because when we create economic independence, social and political infrastructure is then organically developed. Every country, every army, every empire that you can think of, that when they were able to achieve a certain level of economic independence, that is when they were able to create an infrastructure that could basically take care of the society and every needs that they wanted, right? And so using the United States for an example, because of slavery, the United States was able to thrive economically and was able to buy up lands on top of lands, was able to create an army, was able to create infrastructure and a society to which now is thriving. And so we understand the fact that because of our contribution, black people that is, to the growth of not only the United States, but every other country that was colonized by white people where black people were already living and had a society that was well maintained, we are part of that contribution and we have yet to be reaping the benefits. Now, it's that time for us to turn the tables around, even though we're at a disadvantage, but we still coming hard because that's what we do. And my thing is this too. When I look at the statistics, which you guys are about to see, you will be astonished and you'll be amazed in regards to the difference and the basically the gap, the economic gap, the social gap that we have between black people, middle class, Mexican people, and even white people. Okay, so for years, systematic efforts are and have been implemented to divert this objective within our people, which is economic independence, and to create our own infrastructure. And, we had Black Wall Street in Tulsa, which was the start of it. And I'm sure y'all know what happened at the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. If y'all don't know about it, basically, there was a white woman who accused a black man for, sexually assaulting her in some elevator, which was not true. And then ultimately, not only did the citizens of Tulsa, which were white people, come into the area of Black Wall Street, which was predominantly black people that had businesses, that had neighborhoods, and they came in there, shot hundreds and killed hundreds of people in cold blood and burned down all the businesses. So anytime that we had our system of business, our system of economics, we were always met with some kind of resistance. And so now these things are kind of hard to do and they're kind of hard to hide when people like Ice Cube and people like LL and people like Robert Smith are around. Now, thanks to the fearlessness, white supremacy as we know it is now losing its grip when it comes to the economic, political, and cultural control and manipulation they once had. Now, how do I know this? I'm sure some of y'all are asking yourselves that. And that's very simple. You see, white people, along with other races who strongly disagree with white supremacy, are now using their privilege against the machine, i.e. white supremacists. Billionaires like Carolyn Rafaelian are putting their money where their mouth is and challenging the status quo by investing in dark-skinned markets owned and controlled specifically by dark-skinned people. Through pure economic grit and strength, billionaires like Robert Smith cannot be ignored when deciding to invest in their own people. Now, the first thing that I asked myself when I jumped down this rabbit hole was, well, at the end of the day, how many Robert Smiths do exist in the world, right? Because a lot of times when I talk to people in regards to these type of discussions, the first thing they'll say to me is, well, there's a lot of black people playing the NBA, there's a lot of black actors, there's a lot of black athletes making money. Why the fuck are y'all not financially good? Well, unfortunately, the money that is made by a lot of successful black people worldwide, I'm not going to say that, well, no, I will say, fuck it. Majority of that money does not go back into the communities. And the reason why I know that is because that is something you would see. You see what I'm saying? Put it like this. If every basketball player put down $1,000 and that money went to every neighborhood. It like let's say we started on the West Coast, right? And every basketball player that was black would put in $1,000, and that $1,000 pot would let's say every month. Let's say not just every month. Let's just say every basketball player who's black put in $1,000. That money every year will be taken to a different neighborhood to be fixed up. Whether we're fixing the schools, whether we're fixing the roads, whether we're creating businesses to create jobs in that area, whatever it is. But if we were doing that, I guarantee we wouldn't even know what poverty is in our neighborhoods, because we do have that much money kind of floating around. But unfortunately, the thing is that most black people who are making money only care about their families and their immediate families, because we're not in the system of putting our money together and investing in each other. And that's what we're trying to change here. You see what I'm saying? So the first thing, logically, anyone should ask themselves is, well, how many billionaires are there that are dark-skinned? How many Robert Smiths are there? How many Oprahs are there, right? How many Michael Jordans are there? And after I explain this to y'all will understand the economic difference and gap that is between us and the powers that be. So, of the 2,153 people who made it to the 2019 Forbes list, the world's billionaires, 13 of them are black, up from 11 a year ago. I'm going to read that again. Of the 2,153 people who made it to the 2019 Forbes list of the world's billionaires, 13 of them are black, up from 11 a year ago, okay? So now, if y'all really want to talk about numbers, let's talk about numbers. There's 2,153 people that are billionaires, and only 13 of them are us. So that should tell your ass how much work we still got to do, okay? That should tell you how much we are still at a disadvantage, even if we try to put all this paper together. All 13 billionaires are not even holding a match to the 2,153 white billionaires, okay? So we have to understand that we're still at a huge economic deficit, but we on our way up. Hey, we on our way up. Hey. So, for example, cement tycoon Aliko Dangote is still the richest black person in the world with a fortune estimated at $10.9 billion. He's closely followed by Nigerian oil and telecoms mogul Mike Adenuga. All right, and then we got American businessman David Stewart, who is majority owner of the Worldwide Technology, and that is at $11.2 billion. They provide sales IT provider whose customers include Citi, Verizon, and the federal government. Joins the Black Billionaires Club with the Fortune Forbes estimate at $3 billion. We're just getting warmed up, family. We still have a long way to go. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because people like Jeff Bezos is now the richest white man in the modern history, with an estimated net worth of over $150 billion according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index. So, like I was saying, the richest black person we have has $10.9 billion, compared to Jeff Bezos, the richest white man, which is $150 billion. So that is the economic difference and gap and deficit that we are changing day by fucking day. You heard, man? Yay! Now, there's nothing more There's nothing more than I like than a billionaire who invests in his own people. Okay? And I'm sure you guys have seen this story, which is why I'm proud to bring it to you. Philanthropist Robert F. Smith's pledge to eliminate up to $40 million in student loans underscores a growing burden on student borrowers nationwide, especially in dark-skinned communities. A classmate at Morehouse even drew up a spreadsheet and calculated it would take him 25 years to pay back his $200,000 in student loans. Quote, I'm happy for my entire class, end quote, Anderson said Monday, which is one of the students. Quote, this is a weight off everyone's back. You see, and that's the thing about this to us, folks, is because we have to understand, and I'm talking about people in my likeness and then everyone else too who is not. This is something that is not only it's a burden, but it's a weight. It's a weight when, it's like, how much pressure do you have when you know you're the only one that's about to graduate college in your whole family? You understand what I'm saying? How much pressure do you have when you know you got $200,000 worth of student loans and you ain't even got the job, you ain't even graduated, and you already own damn near $250,000? And then statistically, which I'm going to explain, it's harder for us to pay back because economically we're not maintained, we're not solidified. There's not a lot of old money when it comes to our communities. So that's why it's such a help and relief when it comes to someone like Robert Smith investing in our youth so they come out into the world debt free. They come out to the world not owing somebody. So they're already coming into the world not only working for themselves, they're not spending every day just coming out of school working just to pay someone else back. You see what I'm saying? So it's definitely lifting a burden and lifting an extreme weight off the backs of these young kids. Now, why is it important to invest in your youth, i.e. your future? Now, Smith has promised to eliminate up to $40 million in student loans for Morehouse's nearly 400 graduates. Studies show disparities in the amount of student debt African American borrowers amass compared to their white counterparts. African American students usually take on more debt. The center's analysis in 2017 of data from the National Center of Education Statistics shows more than 80% of black students took out loans for their undergraduate education within 12 years of entering school in 2003 to 2004 school year at public and private institutions, compared with more than 60% of white and Latino students. Okay? I'm going to hit you with number stats. We're talking numbers today, folks. All right? Dark-skinned borrowers have higher rates of default. Nearly half of African American students defaulted on a federal student loan within 12 years of entering college. Now, according to the Center of American Progress report, black students owed more than 100% of what they originally borrowed within that time. Okay? So, and this is like, I love how this, Mr. Robert Smith put this thing, man. Like, I'm going to read y'all the quote. On behalf of the 8 generations of my family who have been in this country, we are going to put a little fuel in your bus. The 56-year-old Smith, the founder of investment firm Vista Equity Partners, told the students of the school in Atlanta. You see, for him to say it like that is definitely speaking, it's speaking in the same parallel in regards to what I was saying, that when it comes to our youth, to give them a fighting chance where they are not starting off at a disadvantage, it is, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it is the biggest blessing that Mr. Smith could bestow on our youth. It's to start them out debt free in a society where they are already at a disadvantage. And so what he decided to do is put some fuel in the bus. But he ain't just put no 87. You know what I'm saying? He put 92 octane with no motherfucking ethanol. He put 92 octane, 100% gas in there, so our kids can head to the road of succeeding. They can head down on the road of success and not even worry. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beautiful thing about this is, like I said, is that this man is starting our kids off. He's starting our kids off with less of a disadvantage. Shout out to Mr. Smith. All right? And then another big player, another big proponent on investing in his community, and he's been doing that by his actions more than any type of rhetoric or speech, is the co-founder of the Big Three, which is the entertainment mogul Ice Cube. Okay, and if y'all don't know what the Big Three is, it's a professional 3-on-3 basketball league, which is ramping up for its third season. Now, the league has also introduced several changes aimed at broadening the league and the interest surrounding it, namely expanding the number of teams from 8 to 12. Over the past 2 seasons, it's become very clear that there is a huge appetite for the Big Three, not only with the fans, but with elite players as well, Ice Cube said. Now, in order to meet that growing interest, the league needs to expand, and we are excited to be taking this important next step so early in our existence. Shout out to the Big Three. You know, not only is the stadium attendance growing every year, but players are being hired. You know, a lot of Lamar Odom just got hired on. A lot of these players who not only were chewed up and spit out by the NBA, but everybody had wrote them off, and these men still got bills to pay. You know, so I love how Ice Cube is taking the NBA rejects, right? The NBA, all the old people that the NBA don't want no more, and he's creating something out of it. But most importantly, he's taking back the power that the NBA has been profiting off of, which is us at the end of the fucking day. Let's not forget that the NBA does not have now one black man who owns a team 100%. But how many teams are owned 100% by a white man? Okay, then. So that is why it's important for us to not only take back these entertainment platforms, but if the money's generated by us, then we should be reaping majority of those benefits. I'll be damned. And I feel like Ice Cube and LL Cool J, I feel like I talk for them too when I say that they were tired of watching fucking NBA when we're running up and down that court, but we're not running up and down those skyboxes in the owner suites. That's the shit that doesn't sit well with someone who doesn't have money like me, all the way to someone who has money like Ice Cube and LL Cool J. At the end of the day, I am not going to support platforms that don't support me. And when I say me, I mean my people, my communities. If every fucking neighborhood in the United States got a check from the NBA as much as you know what I'm saying, as much as these kids be putting in, sacrificing their whole life to play, it's like if the NBA really gave a fuck about us, number one, we would be owning basketball team. They wouldn't be always implementing systematic endeavors and systematic strategies to prohibit us from owning teams, like someone like Michael Jordan, who only owns 49% of a team that is not a controlling stock, right? He doesn't have controlling stock within that team because he only has 49%. But even then, someone like Michael Jordan, who has generated billions and billions of dollars for the NBA wouldn't even be what it is without someone like Michael Jordan. Even he can't own a full team, okay? So that's why I'm trying to tell y'all that. Y'all heard what's going on with Magic Johnson up there too? He can't own shit either. Magic is the king of LA, but he can't own shit. He's the king of the Lakers. But can Magic come in there and own 100% of the Lakers? No. Has Magic ever owned 100% of anything like that? No. Nor has any other badass basketball player that has created and generated billions of dollars for the NBA. Which is why, like I said, I love what Ice Cube is doing and LL Cool J, and they're taking it a step further, so just peep game. According to TMZ, they secured several billion-dollar commitments in their push to buy a group of regional sports channels. The rap legends are part of a powerful group, including the Big Three and billionaire Alex and Annie Jewelry founder Carolyn Rafaelian. The channels are currently owned by Disney, but the Justice Department is forcing the company to sell them off to break their monopoly in sports TV, since they already own ESPN. You see, and that's the thing too, man, is that the sad thing about white supremacy and the systematic efforts that they take is that these type of things happen. And it's not just in the sports industry. It's happened And it's happened. That's why back in the day you had Southwestern Bell and all these different, because the telephone company, one motherfucker ended up making all the goddamn money. My thing is this: there's nothing in this world where it's because what, you just that smart and nobody know what the fuck is going on. No, you don't think there's other people who had phone companies and wanted to come out with phone companies, but they just got shut down because fucking Bell was the biggest one, and so then the government were like, "Look, y'all making too much money," and then they broke it up to Southwestern Bell and all that other shit. And so, same thing with the I think it was, I want to say it was Google. I want to say it was Google, but one of them too. A lot of these companies, they have to be not even broken apart, but they're forced to sell a lot of their shit because they have created a monopoly. They have created such a stronghold on that market that legally they're like, look, y'all are doing way too much. And my point is this: it's not just because that product is so good and they're just such good businessmen. It's because they're shutting people down behind closed doors before they can even come out. That's why you don't see other huge car companies coming out, because the big car companies are slaughtering them before they can even build a goddamn car, even one tester car. You understand what I'm saying? From the banks, same way. Is that people come up with systematic ways through business to where they can shut down the small man, gobble them up before anyone even knows what happened. And that is the effects and the results of white supremacy. If there was an equal market and fair market game out here, we wouldn't be having these goddamn problems. It's just that there's too many greedy fucking people out here. Cube's group has backing from private equity partners. If Cube and LL win the bidding, sources say they already plan to place a run. I'm gonna read that all over again. If Cube and LL win the bidding, sources say there's already a plan in place to run a full slate of content that caters to a young audience because they believe there's a hole in that market. And sources also state that Cube and his investment group are ironing out their purchasing strategy, which in other words, it means that they're figuring out how much they want to bid for those stations. Okay? So, while your favorite rapper is out buying new planes, I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about, people like Ice Cube, people like LL Cool J and Robert Smith are investing in people in their likeness. Now, to start help our youth life. What the hell did I write here? And see, the main thing it is that it's to help our youth start life debt free in a world that's set up for them to fail. And like I said, it's a gift beyond measures, especially when it comes from within, from your own kind. I can't thank these brothers enough for putting their money where their mouth is. So, how many times could Jay-Z have done this? How many times could Master P have done this? Or even Dr. Dre? See, I don't know if y'all know this, but Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre, they gave $70 million to create a new academy at USC, a predominantly white school that caters to white kids. While Jay-Z can own a streaming site, as opposed to being a music conglomerate owner instead, is what I never understood either. He chooses to make money off people's music by owning a streaming site, i.e. Jay-Z's the pimp, and you are the hoe, the artist. While Master P could have saved all of New Orleans when he was able to secure an unprecedented deal between No Limit and Priority Records, he didn't. Okay? And the reason why I'm naming these people is because these people have been profiting and making money in the game for the longest time, and they've been making money off the culture that is still being exported and is not anywhere close to the economic stability that these motherfuckers have. And because the culture is what generated the money, the same way is what the slaves what generated the money in the U.S. It's the same way that motherfuckers like Dr. Dre, you don't see them coming back to the hood and giving back. In the same way you don't see the United States coming back to black people and giving back. The same way that Jay-Z owns a streaming site Tidal, as opposed to be fighting to own a music conglomerate where he can actually be in a position of power and not be under the thumb of either Sony, which is owned by the Asians, or Universal, or I forgot the other major, but there's only three major music groups. There's only 3 major music conglomerates in the world that control 95% of the music market. Why aren't people like Jay-Z and Master P up there? You should ask yourself that question. Why does Jay-Z have a title company where, like I said, all he's doing is just playing your music and you paying him for it, as opposed to him putting together a big 3 for the music business, as opposed to him putting together a conglomerate? You should ask yourself these questions. You should ask yourself these questions. Why is it that all these basketball players that have been making money knowing damn well that they can't even get a coaching job where they work, why haven't they started the NBA, their own NBA league? You know, why did it take someone like Ice Cube? You see, we have to ask ourselves these questions, because then you will get the final answer in regards to that people don't just like like other basketball players, like the Allen Iversons, like you name it, man, like Hakeem Olajuwon, Scottie Pippen. You don't think these people wanted to own basketball teams? You don't think maybe they even wanted to coach? But for the most part, you don't think they wanted to own as much money as they brought into that world? For us to assume that all these basketball players just don't want to own is not only ignorant, but it's falling for the dumb shit, as if none of us have ever been ambitious enough to generate a bunch of money for a company, see that, and also want to be part of that. That is about the dumbest thing I would ever hear if somebody ever thought that the only reason why there is no black owners is because none of us wanted it. There's plenty of motherfuckers who wanted it, and not only wanted it, but deserved it, because they have generated so much money for the goddamn, for the platform, okay? So, the Bill Waltons, the Dr. J's, these people, they would have wanted to own just like anybody else. And what I find funny, too, is that a lot of people who own basketball teams, a lot of people who own NFL teams, they don't even fucking play the sport. That's what gets me, is that a lot of them never even played the sport. They're just rich sons of bitches. That's it. That's what blows my mind, is that there's someone like Michael Jordan walking around only 49% owning the Charlotte Bobcats, when there's some old bastard who's never even played the sport that owns more than him, making more than him in the same sport. That's the type of shit that makes me sick. So I'm going to leave y'all with just this saying, man. We on our way up. We on our way up. And I'm telling y'all, there's not too much that can stop us. And that's why I feel that I will talk about the bad times, but I'm going to scream and yell and celebrate the good times. Because, folks, this is what we're fighting for right here. This is why I say what I say, I do what I do, and I spend all this time bringing y'all this information. It's because it's coming to this. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just so glad, like I said, that this energy and I feel like I'm not the only one putting this energy out there, which is why it's manifesting itself so quick. But it's one of those things that I feel that we are all getting onto the same page in regards to us fighting for our independence, economically, politically, spiritually, in every level of society, in every level of existence, is that we are fighting for our independence. No more laying down. No more we shall overcome. No more we want to go shop in your stores. We want to play in. No, we're going to make our own shit. And our shit's going to be hot. So the day motherfuckers like LeBron James and everybody, the day they throw down their fucking jerseys and come fuck with Ice Cube, man, is the day. That's the day I'm waiting for. Because we do have that power. We do have that power. If all the best NBA players that were black right now, they said, fuck you, NBA, I guarantee we can go to even a high school gym and start our own league, and everyone will pack that gym out. I guarantee it. We just need to be able to be fearless enough to bet on ourselves. We have to be fearless enough to bet on ourselves. And that's exactly what Ice Cube has been doing with, from the movies Friday all the way up to the Big Three. He's betting on black. He's betting on black. Robert Smith, over 400 students, they're going to go into the world debt free, betting on black. That's what we need to be doing. And I appreciate people like that lady, Rafaelian, that white lady who owns a jewelry company who linked up with them. And I appreciate people like that too who understand that they're tired of being misrepresented. You see what I'm saying? Because I know there's a lot of good white people that are out there who are not part of racism, who don't want to be part of a white supremacy and a privilege that they know that they have, but now are using against the machine. I appreciate people like Rafaelian, who is using her privilege, who is using her economic strength, you know what I'm saying, against the machine and betting on us because she's saying this idea and what's going on in regards to the powers that be don't represent all white people. That's what I love too, is that the people who are righteous enough to stand against the machine, even though they're from the machine too, those are the ones, like I said, is that are going to help us change this world. Because I would never paint a broad stroke and say all white people are racist. I would never say that, because I've met people who will die for me and they don't even look like me, because they understand what right and wrong is. They understand what knowing and not knowing is. And to know that there's no reason for someone to be prohibited a certain level of achievement just because of the color of their skin is fucking ridiculous. And so I respect white people who take a risk knowing that they could be outcasted, that they could be blackballed. I respect and I salute y'all for doing that. I've had people like that in my life. I wouldn't be where I am in this white man's world without white people who did not like being represented in a way of in a way of negativity and racism, because some of them wholeheartedly do not subscribe to it. There's a lot of white people who do not subscribe to racism and systematic oppression, because they're saying that, look, I'm not like that, and that's not going to be the representative of who I am. And so for people like that, I salute you, and we on our way up. We on our way up. So if it's whether you are investing in a lemonade stand on your street, whether you're investing in some shoes for a little track store that's in your neighborhood, whatever it is, if you Mexican, black, you know what I'm saying, like whatever you are, if you understand that in regards to your community, you don't have exactly what you need, sometimes you could be that person to invest and get your community to the place it needs to be. You don't have to be an Ice Cube and LL Cool J and Robert Smith to contribute to your community and do good. There's all sorts of different levels of service that you can provide for your people to get them in a better place. Babysitting, big brother, little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things you can do. Mentoring, like the things that I'm doing. Documentaries. Self-help, motivational videos. There's a lot of things that we can be doing out here for each other. We don't have to be billionaires. We don't have to be millionaires. But if we think in the same accord, this is the type of energy that we will manifest. Okay? So, with that being said, folks, I appreciate your time. We on our way up. Nothing can stop us. We on our way up. Thank you for your time, man. Appreciate it. And big up to LL. Big up to Q. Most importantly, big up to Mr. Smith for putting their money where their mouth is, man. Risking it all, rolling those dice on their folks. Man, much love. Peace. I'll see y'all in the next build. Thank you so much for your time. Peace.